Dobrodošli na javni dijalog desetoro mladih ljudi iz Prištine i Beograda, a u organizaciji Inicijative mladih za ljudska prava. Ovo je prva ovakva diskusija u nizu susreta između mladih ljudi Kosova i Srbije koje će organizovati Inicijativa mladih za ljudska prava. U narednom periodu biće održano nekoliko javnih diskusija između mladih političara i političarki iz Kosova i Srbije sa ciljem njihovog upoznavanja, povezivanja i pokretanja dijaloga o aktuelnim problemima. Ovde je trenutno 5 mladih ljudi iz Prištine koji su prethodna 3 dana boravili u Beogradu, pa će u narednih sat i nešto više oni govoriti o svojim iskustvima, ali je prevashodni cilj ove tribine da se prosto uspostavi kontakt između mladih ljudi iz Srbije i sa Kosova i da se oni pre svega što bolje upoznaju i na taj način razbiju neke predrasude koje sigurno postoje sa obe strane. Budući da se ne razumemo svi, bilo na srpskom, bilo na albanskom, ova tribina, to jest debata ili razgovor, kako god hoćete, bit će vođen na engleskom jeziku, tako da ćemo od sada pa nadalje pričati na engleskom. Once again, welcome all to this debate. And first of all, I would like all of you to give us just short introductions about who you are and why are you here. Valbona, maybe we can start from you.
Yes, I'm Valbona Shuyaku. I come from Prishtina. I'm a cultural manager working in Prishtina in various cultural activities.
Is this your first time in Belgrade?
No, actually this is my second time. The first time was 2006 and it was very brief. It was also some activities with initiative, youth initiative.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for now, but we'll talk more later.
Hello everyone, my name is Marian, I'm from Serbia and I'm a student of journalism in Belgrade.
Hello, I'm Fiona Kilmendi, I'm from Pristina and I work in the civil society dealing mostly with social and economic research. This is, I've been to Novi Sad before, but this is my first time in Belgrade.
Hello everyone, my name is Luka Božović, I'm from Serbia and I'm the student of the 3rd year of Faculty of Political Sciences and I'm politically active for the past few years in Serbia.
My name is Milica Simić, I study computers and I'm in Youth Initiative for Human Rights, I'm activist.
Hi everyone, I'm Krano Aršolja, I graduated from American University back in Pristina. And I work at GAP Institute. It's a think tank about dealing with public policy issues.
Hello everyone, my name is Anita Mitic. I'm studying in Belgrade, Political Sciences.
Hello everyone, my name is Ron Krasnice. I'm a graduate of the American University in Kosovo, Business Management. And this is my first time here in Belgrade.
Hello, my name is Besar Kumi. I come from Kosovo. I work for Youth Initiative for Human Rights. I coordinate the Viziting program, part of which participants from Kosovo are today. My first time in Belgrade was in April 2007 when I was a participant in this program. And this is, I've been coordinating this program for 2 years now, and I was coming every month with a group with different groups of students. But for most of participants that were coming with me, it was their first time also.
Can you remember your first time in Belgrade and how you felt about it?
I do remember my first time in Belgrade. Every time I come, I cross the border in Merdare actually. And it was quite interesting. I was 18 at that time and it was... Actually, I come from a city where big war crimes happen, from Suareka, and it was quite challenging for me to break that wall that was built since the end of the war between Kosovo and Serbia. Going back in that period of time, I remember that my father sent the call for application for the visiting program. I applied and I got accepted, and it was very interesting coming for the first time to Belgrade and having all those ideas in my mind about Belgrade, but making them reality and meeting young people, having discussion with them, and seeing all these problems that are common problems maybe for the most of the young people in the region, and seeing more things that we have in common than differences, discussing about them, agreeing, disagreeing, but in general it was a very interesting first visit.
We came here I think both of us, me and Kunar, we had expectations that we had an idea that Belgrade is a big city, kind of like any other big European city. So, and we pretty much will have experienced that. We think it's pretty cool. It's a very nice, vibrant city, and it's interesting to spend time here, I think.
Yeah, as Ron mentioned, me as well had very positive expectations. Excuse me. Had very positive expectations before coming here, because I had some friends who had the chance before to visit Belgrade, and they told me that it's a nice city, it's a very crowded city, European city, and I really had the positive expectations. And then when I came, I realized that the expectation and the reality, in fact, there was any distinction between them. So I really enjoyed the time being here, and I hope I will travel more openly.
Fiona and Valbona, how about you? Fiona, you said you've been to Novi Sad before.
Yes.
Was it exit or?
Yes, the first time, of course. The first time was actually work-related, but the other 2 years it was for exit exclusively. So I knew more or less what to expect, and there was, of course, no fear, no doubts about coming here, and it was really fun. I actually expected a really a beautiful European city, and that's the experience that we got. Both the meetings, the people that we met, it was very interesting. And the after-hours social outings, that was really good too. So yes, I'm very happy with being here.
Valbona, you have a lot of experience as somebody who works in cultural exchange and cooperation.
Well, my first time in Belgrade, I think because my expectations were so high, my first time was like, oh, it's a great city, and I think I came in summertime and it was raining that day, and it was kind of, I didn't really like it, but this time, because my expectations were lower, I think I enjoyed more. But always, as everywhere in the world, if you have friends, if you have someone to take you in, to show you around those special places, it always makes it more interesting.
Were all of you at any time afraid to speak Albanian among yourselves? Did you have any doubts in the back of your minds? No. Okay. Now let's switch to students from Serbia. And has someone been to Priština? And how about your experiences, Anita?
Well, I was 2 times in Pristina and 2 times in Prizren. This summer I spent 1 month in Pristina. I was in summer school of American University in Kosovo. And first time when I was coming to Kosovo, I was really afraid. And my parents were even more afraid. But the first moment when I met people from Kosovo, and first night when we went out, I had this amazing time. We had such a good time. Every time now when I go to Pristina, I have a lot of friends, and they're always happy to see me, and I'm always very happy to see them. And I always have this amazing time, and I always want to come back. And I think it's very important for young people to connect in this kind of way. I think that is the only way they can really understand what is going on. Because every time when I come back to Belgrade, I'm just talking about Prishtina and how they should go there, because it's really
And what's the reactions of the people you talk with?
Well, it depends who I talk to. I mean, some people do not believe me, and some of them want to come. And some of them actually did came to Prishtina after talking to me, because I always bring very good memories and very good things. But I think in few years, when more people when traveling to Kosovo would be more easier, it will be the best thing for us, definitely.
Milica?
I was on Kosovo this year. It was internship. It was a program of Youth Initiative for Human Rights. I had a great time. I wasn't afraid. I was a little bit afraid of the borders, more borders than actually the people there. People was delighted to see us. They were all like, great, you're here. Why are you here? First question. But when we say we're here for friendliness, for just fun. They were really happy to see us. My parents was a little bit upset, but they weren't so afraid. But they're like, why are you doing that? You know, but we want to have friends. We don't want to be like this.
I have never been to Kosovo, but it doesn't mean that I'm not planning to go there very soon. Bessert is looking at me right now because that's the thing I'm saying it to him every time he comes to Belgrade, and I really promise I'm going to be there, I think, next month or the month after it. I'm planning my visit for a long time, I think for the past 4 years actually. But I had a chance to meet a lot of people from Kosovo who came to Belgrade on a Youth Initiative's visiting program. So I had a great experience with those people because we had a subject to talk about every time they come to Serbia.
Marijan?
Just like Luka, unfortunately, I haven't had the chance to go to Kosovo yet. I've been planning to go for some time now. I know a lot of people from Prishtina. I met them actually this year, last year, during the days of Sarajevo in Belgrade. And personally, I think that all of them are great people. I have great expectations, not from the city itself, but from the people I'm about to meet. I'm looking forward to seeing my friends again and making some new friends.
How about your friends, your family? How did they react when you told them that you were going to participate in today's debate discussion?
Most of them have some kind of a strange relationship. It's not fear, it's just questions like, but what would you do there? Why would you go to Priština? Why would you go to Kosovo? But for me, it's the same question as what will you do in Novi Sad? What will you do in Kragujevac? It's just another city with some good people and some bad people. I intend to spend time with those people that I think they are good, just like in Novi Sad or Kragujevac or any other city.
I guess you're all of the same age, and I guess that you all talk about your everyday lives, and that you compared life in Belgrade with life in Prishtina or some other towns in Serbia and Kosovo. So what are the things that you have in common? Would you say that you are more different, or that you are more like each other?
I don't see any difference among us. Why there is any? We have many things in common. Ethnicity now it's a different story, but we have the same values, I guess. We have the same problems. We share same, opinions in regards, for example, to European integration, and pretty much I don't see any big distinction between our citizens. The problem is that our people and your people are not well informed about the current problems, and because of this, the stereotypes and the prejudices are raising, knowing the fact that our politicians just try to gain their power and just using people for their own interest. So this is why I think this program that Bessart called that you initiated, it's a first step of creating the bridge between our communities and leave politics for a bit aside and just try to settle things and the disputes that we might have, and just inform each other and see what we can, how we can go forward.
If you take the view from the media, how they give it to the citizen, you can see that there are two different worlds. There is Serbia and there is Kosovo, and there are maybe two other planets. And usually people, I would say in this case from Kosovo, see it Belgrade as a bit far, and maybe also because of the problem with documents that people from Kosovo cannot travel to Serbia with Kosovo or unmixed documents. This is a problem, but usually when they travel and when I meet before the trip, I tell them that the trip takes around 4-5 hours maximum. They are always surprised. They are saying like, is it too close? This is too close. And it's the same also with people from Serbia. This is a problem that media is giving to us, that we are living completely in two different worlds. And once the young people meet the others, like me and Luca and Anita and the others, it is very interesting that we end up speaking about or ambition for studies, or problems in or university, or employment, about these kind of everyday problems. And of course, there are differences between people. There are differences among Albanians themselves. There are differences among Serbians. There are not all, I mean, every person is different in a way, but there are things that link us. For example, me and Anita, we both studied political sciences, and we end up speaking about politics in a, not only about everyday politics, but about something more. So there are differences, but those differences are also among citizens of Prishtina. It's not that big deal.
But I think it's amazing because in Prishtina, young people are sitting in cafes, studying, going out, drinking, talking about fashion, everyday life, and people in Belgrade do the same thing. I mean, we have so many topics that are not politics to talk about. But you know, for me, Prishtina is more far away than United States because there is a wall between us, and as soon as we break that wall, we will be. It will be possible to just be friends when we're with people you like. I mean, there is Albanian people that I don't like. There's Serbian people that I don't like. I mean, there is kind of people, but who cares are they Albanians or Serbian? I mean, it's just, we need to break that wall. And that is why we are sitting here, I think.
I just wanted to add something. I think it's a good way for us to focus or concentrate more on the common things that we share, not the things that divide us. Politicians are taking care of the divisions. We should take care of the common things, and I think that's the best way so that we can build this bridge that we started today.
Basically, I think we both know the basic information we need to know. I mean, at first, as for my trip to Prishtina, I was maybe a little scared at first, but right now I know a lot of Albanians from Prishtina or Preševo. My friends from Preševo have a lot of friends in Prishtina, so basically when I go there it will be a comfortable environment, so to speak. So I just think of it as another trip.
We just need a chance to go to Prishtina. We just need a chance to talk with each other. As all of the other people said, we have some subjects we can discuss about, which are common life subjects, but we need a chance. We need to break that wall and use the same bricks to build bridges between the young people. I'm talking only about young people because I'm interested in young people who are the future of our societies and who are maybe going to be the ones who are going to make decisions in the future, which is relevant for us now.
Fiona, I'm asking this because of what you do. One of the common things for young people in Serbia and in Kosovo is unemployment. That's quite a big issue and quite a big problem, almost for all young people in Europe.
This is another one of the common problems that we have, and things that issues that concern us. Kosovo has a very young population. I don't know the average age. There are no official
26.
statistics yet.
26.
Something like that, yes. But a few years ago it was mentioned that every year around 30,000 young people enter the workforce. There are not enough jobs. I don't know what the numbers are here, but that's a really big issue. That's a really big challenge. And of course, we're still a very closed country, in the meaning that, I mean, we can't travel, we can't go abroad. I know when I told some of my friends that I was going to Belgrade, they were envious. They were saying, lucky you. I have a lot of friends that would like to come here, and to other countries as well. So I think this is also one of the barriers, because there aren't enough jobs being created in Kosovo, and I'm sure it's the same here. And I think that exchange with both Serbia and other countries as well would be beneficial to that. I mean, there are young people going studying abroad. There are these exchange visits, but I just wish this would be more intense, because we have these problems with travel. We can only go to, I think, 4 or 5 countries. How many? Without visas.
Maybe cultural exchange and cooperation is one of the answers to this problem.
Perhaps, maybe in the future. So far, there haven't been any cultural cooperation. One thing that I want to mention is that I think in 2005 there was. You all know about DocuFest, the International Documentary and Short Film Festival, which is held in Prizren. Every year is the most successful festival in Kosovo, and it's in August. And I'm not sure if it's 2004 or 2005. The winner of one of the winners of the festival is Boris Mitic with his movie Beautiful Diana. And an interesting thing is that in the jury, one of the jury members that selected him as a winner is the leader of Vetvendosie, Albin Kurti, and an artist, Albanian artist who lives in New York, Slay Jaffa. And there was some like questioning, why you selecting, why did you pick a Serbian? But in the end, it was the quality of the movie that won. It didn't really depend, because back in Kosovo, we don't really care if it's from Serbia, it has to be quality art production.
What about cultural production in Kosovo? What's the financial situation? Do you have enough money to do?
Well, before it was better. Before it was very exotic for all the grantees and the foundations to support the arts. And unfortunately, back then, the cultural managers were not in big number. There are a few more now, but before there wasn't. So artists or actors or musicians had to take the responsibility of writing project proposals and apply. But now we get less money. The Ministry of Culture tries, but it's, I think, less than 1% of the state budget. But they try. Their policy is to support as much project as they can with little funds. But I think what they're doing now, they're slowly trying to write political, cultural policies and strategies to slowly join the European cultural policies somehow. Well, in the future, I hope there will be collaboration in cultural field, because I think it's important to kind of take another, not a political way of talking to one another. I just talked to Ana Adamovic, who is an artist from Belgrade. I just met her this morning, and we were discussing a possibility of having this joint project, but maybe next year. It was totally her idea, something that she already started doing in Serbia, but it's a potential project with Kosovo, which I would look forward if that would be possible.
The book fair was very impressive. I actually enjoyed it quite a lot, and meeting Vladimir Arsenjevic was especially pleasant, and listening to him speak about publishing and trying to publish in the Balkans, trying to publish even Albanian authors. I thought that was very interesting.
But what he told us is that there are two Kosovar writers. One is Bejt Sufaj and Jevdet Bajraj, who he knows them, and because of their friendship, he took their material and published it. We were talking about the way they make it public, how they promote it, and who buys the things. But all in all, I think these are the two only Kosovar writers who are published in Serbia.
Yeah. People from Serbia, how well do you know what's going on in Prishtina and in Kosovo? Do you visit some websites, web pages? Do you have contacts with your peers from Kosovo. Are you interested in what's going on in Kosovo?
Well, I have a lot of friends there, so I think I'm in daily connection with them. I mean, through the Facebook and mails and Skype, so I know almost everything that is going on there, because I think it's very important that we know, because their daily life is similar to ours. I mean, they're studying, they have problems with their boyfriends or girlfriends, so it's the same thing. But I think that if young people look a little bit more on websites of Kosovo's website, they will see that.
We had a chance to see each other in Sarajevo, for example. On Sarajevo, it was in the International Theatre Festival last year, and there were a lot of people from Kosovo there together with us, so we had a chance to discuss about those topics. And communication is much more easier if you have the possibility to have, I don't know, Facebook profile or Skype or MSN or any other medium which has, if you have internet approach, it's really, really easy nowadays.
Well, I try to speak to my friends from Kosovo as more as I can. Unfortunately, right now that's not too often. But when you ask the question, do you know what's happening in Kosovo? Nothing much different than what is going on in Serbia. I mean, it's the same problems. Poor education, someone's looking for a job, someone lost their job, stuff like that. But when people, I can speak for my friends and my surroundings, so to say, when they think about Kosovo, it's like Kosovo is not from this earth. I mean, it's like far away, what's going on in Kosovo, how is in Kosovo. Same is here, but not much different.
Well, what's the best way to break those prejudices? We all have some stereotypes and prejudices about each other.
I think the first thing we should do is stop thinking about Serbs and Albanians, and we should start talking or thinking in the way how to cooperate to make things better. I mean, like it or not, we are predetermined to live with each other, not one beside each other, but together. So we have the same problems, we have the same region we live in, we should work together, solve those problems together. It's much easier.
Bestart, you wanted to say something.
Actually, since the war was ended, there was no communication. And what was Youth Initiative for Human Rights always aiming to do is to break down these barriers and in a way to look at the other side and to re-establish a communication among young people from both countries. It is very important that young people from Priština and young people from Belgrade, not only from Priština but also from other cities of Kosovo and other cities of Serbia, goes to visit and meet their youngsters from civil society, faculties, institutions, and different kinds of people, and they need to create their own idea about and their own opinion about the situation, because for all these years we left media to interpret or to make us our opinion. But now it's very important that I come to Serbia, I meet everyone, I discuss topics with everyone, and I create my own idea about the situation and the politics. In this century especially, there are a lot of ways of communication, and we cannot complain about it, so we can know what is going on. But what was really sad, just a couple of minutes before this started, a journalist was asking me about freedom of movement, and I explained that we have difficulties to come to Serbia. And he said, like, and is it the same about Serbian people to go to Kosovo? And it was quite surprising. A journalist doesn't know that they can travel easily with ID cards to Kosovo. And imagine now how ordinary young people in Serbia lives with the idea that they cannot enter Kosovo. So it's very important to spread the information and the people to know more about Kosovo, about all these things, beside politics. I mean, what we are, the ordinary people, are suffering the most because of the politics. So we should leave that out and work to make it better for us.
But maybe you are the generation who suffers the most because of the feeling of guilt, I would say, possibly from both sides. Because of what's been done in the past. You've all been born at the end of the 80s or even 90s, I'm not sure. So you were even not aware of what's going on, almost.
But this is very important for us. I was 11 years old during the war. I do remember things, but I didn't know things. And it's very important that both new generations in Kosovo and Serbia to know about the past, to deal with it, and in order to create a better future, we should deal with it. And the problem is that both societies are a bit closed in dealing with the past. We are also the ones who should work in this direction. Facing the past and facing the truth, it's a very important process for the countries like we are living in now.
I think this is an important topic. I would like to hear more opinions from someone else.
Yeah, I think we need to consider one very crucial element in terms of the relationship that we should have. Just look at France and Germany. It's uncomparable. If you look their history and our history of hatred, it's uncomparable. Meaning that Germans and French had so many wars comparing to us, and now if you see them, they are the closest friends between one another. So what the problem that we need to raise in terms of this respect is to find out what are those instruments that make people interrelate with one another. And I actually, in this situation with Kosovo and Serbia, we have currently, unfortunately, very instrument at our hand, and this is cultural activities. Because if we think, for example, through trade, because the trade is the most appropriate instrument so that it can link the people with one another. But the problem is that because of the politics, we cannot trade with Serbia. That's the problem, because Serbia does not recognize our stamps and it refuses to accept our goods and services and everything. So through cultural activities, I think we can just start this process of reconciliation and the process of getting to know more each other and see what we can do and how we can help each other.
Anita.
And I think that what you say about the guilty, it is really a problem. I mean, I'm 20 years old. I was born when the war started, but I know a lot about it. And one of my things that I want to do is dealing with the past. But this summer, Besret and I went to Prizren from Priština, and we were passing through Suva Reka. So during our trip, Besret was telling me what happened in Suva Reka, and of course I felt terrible about it. It's a terrible thing, and I'm really mad because I'm the one that needs to, talk about it, that I need to deal with it in somehow. But you know what? If Besset can tell me that in Suva Reka, during our passing through Suva Reka, then I think our two countries have a future, and that is really important.
But we are talking about past, but my biggest concern is the future, and I have the other opinion. I like talking more about the similar stuff we have now, the friendship we have now, because everybody's like, okay, war happened, and you can't forget about war. I'm like, okay, yeah, we can't forget about war, but we can concentrate on the future. We don't have to forget about war, but why should we always talk about it? Because whenever I talk with my friends who are from Serbia and are not involved in this program, they're always like, yeah, but we fought. So why are you friends with them? And I'm like, okay, we didn't fight. I didn't. I was born then. You were born then. Why should we fight? So that's That's what I like to think about. I like to think about future. I like to talk about that more than but of course with premises that it didn't have it happened. I don't want to forget that, of course.
I was 20 years old when the war happened, and if I can change something in my life, if I can just delete it, it would be the war. It's the worst experience that I've ever had in my life, and I had a lot of experiences. Is someone coming in, kicking you out of your house for no reason, and then kicking you out of your country. It's I don't find it, appealing, and I understand why there is hatred and why it's difficult to talk. Someone has to take responsibility for what happened. I think both sides have to talk with clear head and really show what the facts were, real facts, and not this made up histories, and then take it from there. I think it's crucial, like in divorce, before you divorce you have common wealth, then you have to kind of divide the wealth. That's how I see it.
Look.
I wanted to say something about the prejudice. Why do we have prejudices? We have prejudices because we don't know so-called the other side. We don't know much about the people from Kosovo, or people from Kosovo don't know enough about people from Serbia, young people from Serbia. This is the solution, and this kind of discussions are the tool for breaking the prejudices. Education is the tool for breaking prejudices. This is the first discussion in a row of discussions, and also one of the factors that is responsible for prejudices are medias, definitely, because you cannot have the whole picture of, Kosovo society. If you're watching the media in Serbia, your television is working on breaking those prejudices. In Kosovo, I suppose that situation is the same. You don't have full picture of Serbia's society or problems in Serbia, and usually if you have a chance to listen or see something about Kosovo, it's just major political subjects, not the usual life of the usual people, ordinary people.
In that light, do you think about the upcoming talks between official Belgrade and official Pristina? Did you talk about that during these 2 or 3 days of your visit?
I think that's the time when my personal opinion from the talks that I have with my friends here is that young people in Serbia are not so well informed of what's happening because they read certain newspaper or watch certain television that promotes only one certain information. And considering that there's internet and there's everyone can do their own research and have critical thinking, I think that's what's lacking in Serbia. Whereas back in Kosovo, we are more critical. We're extremely critical about everything. They say we have 3 sorts of sets of thoughts for one particular idea. I think that these talks, if there would be a TV channel or a show that would kind of follow up on what's happening on a regular basis and kind of promote it as such, and give the opportunity to people to see what's really happening in this talk, what are they talking about, and because I would want to know what they're talking about. I would really want to know what happens in those meetings between politicians. Is there a similar talk as we're doing now, or do they do deals like businessmen, or is it something more sophisticated? I would like to know that. I think if you put it down like that and kind of more human level, then it's kind of make it more easier to understand it.
I think in the next round of negotiation between Kosovo and Serbia, ordinary people, citizens' interest should be in the first point. We are 11 years after the war, and we still cannot travel freely to Serbia. We are 11 years since the war ended, and we still don't know about 1,887 missing persons. And these are concrete topics. These topics should be discussed. It's very important for us as ordinary citizens to to solve these kind of issues. We are all aiming at the European Union, but we don't have freedom of movement in region. From Kosovo you cannot travel to Bosnia, from Kosovo you cannot travel to Serbia. We all should promote and we all should work, and the negotiation should be very crucial in this point, in citizens' interest. Okay, those state interests, those big topics, those are important, but there should be considered the citizen interest. We've been trying to use different mechanisms to kind of force politicians, especially in Kosovo, to talk about these kind of problems. Because, I mean, I face problems if I want to come to Serbia. There are thousands of families who don't know about missing persons. There are problems, for example, in sports. There is no sport activity in Kosovo that can attend international competitions. There are thousands of young people playing with different kind of sports, and it's important for them to show their talent. So this is a practical problem. So it's I think this is the
Anita.
But I think these kind of talks are even more important than the talk that politicians are doing, because in this way people can actually see on television that we can sit together and that we can talk about these issues. And I think that in 5 or 10 years probably most of us will be leaders of our countries in some parts anyway. So, and we will remember how we could just sit on the table and talk. And I think that is the solution.
Can you imagine any 5 people from any 5 young people from Serbia and any 5 young people from Kosovo sitting and talking just like we do now?
Of course.
Yes, without any conflicts or something like that.
That's what I was going to say. The discourse on the political level is always much different, and whenever you have, I don't want to just say young people, ordinary people, any kind of people, when you have them sit down and talk, the talk, I mean, it flows naturally towards problems and similarities that we have. I mean. It's just it's a very normal discussion. So talks on the political level are completely different. And if we could have more forums like these to discuss, this would be the most natural way to promote sort of that cooperation. Because if we wait for the issues, I can call them that, to be resolved on the political level, it will take years and years and years. I think we as ordinary people can actually do much more to overcome those barriers.
Is there maybe a problem in the clash of generations? Maybe young people are more open and more willing to talk to each other. Maybe our parents who lived in a different country with a different name, and the whole generations of theirs, maybe they have problems, maybe they cannot communicate anymore.
The youth actually,
that's where young people should enter and try to re-establish those
the youth, well, at least, I mean, I speak for Kosovo, doesn't really dwell in the past that much. I mean, yes, that was there and the horrible things happened. But when, and I'm sure that those of you that have been to Kosovo can confirm this, we don't really care. I mean, people from Serbia are free to come and we will talk about different kinds of things. We will go out, we will drink and have fun, we will talk about problems as well, but we're not really that concerned with what has happened, and this is of course one difference, I mean, between the older generations, which witnessed the atrocities that happened, and between the young people who most of them don't remember. So that's one advantage, one thing that we can use the youth to have more dialogue.
I have kind of a mixed feelings about these negotiations. On the one side, it's fear that the media and some of our politicians will try to force some, for me, completely irrelevant subjects and completely ignore the important things. On the other hand, I'm hoping that both our and Kosovo politicians have learned something in the past 2 decades, and that they will find a way to cooperate and to find solutions for real problems. Also, I think that, as always, the solutions will come from ordinary people. They are the ones who have to live together, not our politicians.
I disagree on that the older generations are not willing to cooperate. Actually, they have been communicating, they have been living with each other in Priština, for example. They had neighbors. And whatever happened during the war, they didn't see each other. For example, now Serbians were not living in Kosovo for years. But I would mention two cases that that happened personally to me. One is that I was in a cab driving in Belgrade, and the taxi driver asked me where I am from. I told I come from Kosovo, and he was like, "Oh, you're from Kosovo, how is it live there?" And he started to say bad words about politicians in Kosovo, politicians in Serbia. He said, like, they are all corrupted, it's us, people who are suffering. And another case in Prishtina, there were a couple of young people through our visiting program of Youth Initiative for Human Rights, and they entered a store and they tried to speak in English with an old man. And he didn't speak English, and he suddenly understood that they're speaking Serbian. And he said, like, okay, now we can speak in Serbian because I speak fluently. So in those two cases, you can see that there is a will for communicating. It's not, again, it's media, it's politicians that are making this all worse than it is.
This discussion is a message to those people. It's the message that we want to communicate with each other, that we are showing that we want to communicate with each other, and they need to listen to us. The problem is they're not listening to us. We are having a chance for our voice to be heard every 4 years in the elections, but relationship they built towards the young people in not just in Serbia and Kosovo, or in the whole region, is making the situation more difficult, because young people are not going out to vote on the voting day, which is a problem. And we're now sending a message: if you're not ready to communicate, if you're not ready to make new connections, we are ready and we want to make new connections. And
we just started.
Yeah, we just started it. We started it a few years ago, actually.
I think especially in prison, everyone are talking Serbian. And I had the same situation with the cab when I came in, and when he asked, where are you from? And we said Belgrade. Oh, I learned Serbian, Croatian, and he started some folk song to sing. It was really funny. And that is one good thing too. And I think that as much as we maybe have problems, these talks are the only way of future. We need this. We can want it or not want, but we need it because we are living in the same region. We have to work together and we have to live together. So this is the only way. I think it is.
I had a chance to meet young people from all over the ex-Yugoslavia and to discuss with them about subjects we're discussing here, and it's all the same subjects, and the answers are the same in almost every society except maybe in Slovenia, but we're not counting in the Western Balkans, as we said yesterday in the discussion. But it's also the problem. We have prejudices towards that people also, not just in the relation Serbia and Kosovo. So including those people in this kind of conversations in the future is a good thing for our future. We need to think more about that common future of all of us, because I think all of us are planning to spend the rest of our lives in the future. So that's the key issue.
A very simple question. I mean, some of you are active 3 to 5 years in the past, and if you compare, for example, 2005, 2007, do you have less pressure from your own communities in cooperation with, for example, for Albanians with Serbs or in Belgrade, and for people from Belgrade, I mean, with cooperation when it comes that you say you're friends, that you are cooperating with people from Prishtina and so on. So do you think that this pressure is bigger maybe or you have less pressure, or everything is the same without any developments in that regard?
Thank you.
People, can I? People back in Pristina and in Kosovo in general had realized that without getting to know each other, without not traveling to Belgrade and Serbia, it is quite impossible so that we have a good relationship. So people have started to change their minds in this respect, and they are curious to know what Serbia really is, and what do people of Serbia, random people of Serbia, do in everyday life. So I think people are getting more interested to travel more and exchange their experiences, their ideas. And you asked about the pressure. In this respect, the pressure is always decreasing as the time is passing forward. So the chances are coming.
Since I've been working in the program, and first of all, I was a participant in the program, I had such a comment like, "Don't go to Serbia. You cannot never trust to go there. Everything can happen." And actually, those people who said that were in Belgrade after that, and they were kind of saying the same words I was saying to them after I went back, that you can easily go, you have very nice people to communicate with, and we should work in this direction. We should promote the regional cooperation, not only between Kosovo and Serbia, but as you mentioned before, between Bosnia, Montenegro, Croatia, because there is a lack of information among young people, and we should. As a youth initiative for human rights, we've been doing that for years, but it is also we need to continue this work, and we need also the states to be involved in this process to help young people in a way to get more informed. As I know, somebody mentioned the French and German exchange program. That is still going on, even if they are in European Union and they have no borders. They can go with ID card, without any problem. They still have this exchange program, and also linking it with the older generations. It's interesting fact that those young people that are going from France to Germany, they stay in the families. So maybe the future of cooperation between Kosovo and Serbia would be that program, exchange program, that is led by two governments, and young people from Serbia stays in Albanian family for 1-2 days, and this is maybe a tool to also link the older generations to change a bit.
But can you really see it happening? What Besart said.
Someone from Suhareka visited someone in Smederev or something. Yeah. Is that what he's saying? Well, why not? Why not? But I see it in like 20 years or so, not so close future. I think the pressure was more with discussing or with Serbs that are in Kosovo. I think that's the first step we should make. Yes, Serbia and Kosovo is important, we talk, but first, all the nationalities living in Kosovo, they have to feel as if they're in their own place. They don't have to feel that they're foreign or someone is occupying someone, or, you know. I think that's important. Before it was different. Now with the elections and with the new municipalities that they kind of have their own new municipalities, their own mayors. And I think it's slowly starting to work because they feel at home and they kind of establish life and it's working. I mean, I think that once the Serbs in Kosovo feel settled and good, and that's, we can go together and talk with Serbia. I think that's how it's, because we can't talk alone and say, okay, let's deal now Kosovar Albanians with Serbia. I think it has to be like a real country, nation.
When you started the whole visiting program, and when I had a chance, when I was in high school, I had a chance to meet people from Kosovo. In the beginning, a lot of my friends, even my father, had problems with me having contact with the people from Kosovo and with Albanians, even the people from Albania. Nowadays, it's different. People are getting used on the contacting with the people from Kosovo, on the movement of the people, on mobility from Kosovo to Serbia, which is not so great, as we said, but we're having the progression, I think, in our organizations. But you mentioned maybe in 20 years. I don't have a time to wait for 20 years. I don't want to wait for 20 years.
No, she was joking. She was joking.
I want it now.
Well, 10 years already passed. It's actually almost 12, so that's why it's 5. Talking from experience.
It's not a fresh conflict. It's not fresh anymore.
No, I agree. I hope it's earlier, but you know, that's my opinion.
I really don't want to wait 20 years to I don't know. I want my children can go to Kosovo.
So you can join someone in Suareka. He can, I think, you can go with his family. Maybe that should be your first.
Maybe we can make a tour to whole Kosovo. It's the idea for the next visiting program. Kosovo tour.
I had an Albanian friend come to my home and had lunch with my parents, and I think that is possible. I think 2 years maybe. But I think what is really important that Serbia should solve the problem with the Kosovo documents, and I think that is extremely important because I want these people to come to my birthday, for example, and they can't do it because they can't get whatever they need to cross the border.
I think it's easy if to involve state institutions. So it's they have. We don't have to raise their awareness. If we have to work in awareness for families to accept someone, which maybe needs a little bit more time, we don't have to wait for both governments to cooperate between each other and make the people live more freely and move freely. So I don't see it as impossible. I mean, it's very easy if we want to do that. We are the young people who should push our governments to do that.
Of course, this was just one informal conversation and dialogue between young people from Kosovo and young people from Serbia. As we mentioned at the beginning, this is only first one in the series of talks that will be organized by Youth Initiative for Human Rights. Next time it will be talks between young politicians from Serbia and Kosovo. We can just say thank you for participating and hope to see you very soon in Belgrade.
Thank you.
Thank you.